This week, road comic veteran Marc Yaffee.
Of course, we got the stereotypes. People think Indians are all getting rich on casinos. No, I suck in casinos. I was just in Wisconsin, performed at the Ho-Chunk Tribal Casino. I'm now an honorary member of the Ho-Chunk tribe because I lost a whole chunk of money. Celebrity slot machines in the casinos. You seen this nonsense? Michael Jackson slot machine, Elvis Presley slot machine, Ellen DeGeneres slot. There's a Britney Spears slot machine. They need a Dr. Phil slot machine. Every time you lose, you'd be like, what were you thinking? Even if you win, like, you still got a problem.
Is it pretty much a video blog, or you just do audio, both?
No, it's video.
Okay.
So, okay, right now I'm looking at you. Does it look weird? Like I'm looking off camera or anything?
You're looking slightly to the side.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How about now?
Yes, straight on.
Oh, sweet. Okay. This is actually better. Okay. So, very cool, Marc Yaffee, ladies and gentlemen. Laffy Taffy, is that right?
Well, I've heard the Laffy Yaffee, Laffy Taffy, Mark Waffle, Mr. Yahoo. My name gets butchered more than a side of meat.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's going to butcher anything, it'll be me. I'll tell you that. Right now, man, I'm Mr. Goofball, man. My memory's just going to hell. I don't know about you. But well, you know what? I don't think yours is, because your act is just full of wordplay and fun. I mean, just intricate wordplay, which is pretty amazing, actually.
I've always liked writing. My problem is, you say I have a good memory, but I can't remember anything off stage. And now with Zoom, in the Zoom environment, I got to where I put a lot of my, I just have my notes. My computer was a teleprompter. Like, I'd be talking to the camera and I'd be watching for the new material. Now I'd want to do a live show. I'm like, I got to remember stuff again. So it's that muscle's got to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just booked my first show because I don't know. I know that you've been doing some shows during the pandemic here.
Here and there, mostly Zoom. I can't.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. You do from the hot tub, jokes from the hot tub, right?
Jokes from the jacuzzi every Sunday.
From the jacuzzi. See, there you go. I say hot tub and it's jacuzzi.
Hot tub,
makes more sense because they're both J's.
Yes.
Jokes, jacuzzi. I'm an idiot.
No.
You're dealing with an idiot here this morning, Marc.
lack of sleep and not enough coffee. That'll,
Yeah.
What do you drink? What are you drinking there?
But anyway, I really got a kick out of that you're actually doing a weekly show from your jacuzzi.
Yeah. Well, that's what you do when no one else is hiring you, right? I tell you, 2021. The good news is, 2021 so far, I haven't got COVID or bookings. So it's a mixed blessing.
Same here. So far, so good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, and here, in America, we do this. I was born in Sweden. In Sweden, they say, hold your thumbs.
Hold your thumb.
Okay. Yeah, here we say, cross your fingers.
Well, it is colder there. It's probably a self-preservation deal.
Yeah, that's probably right. That's probably
right. Now, do you guys hitchhike the same in Sweden? Is that a different?
Yeah. Okay. We use our thumbs for that, even in the wintertime, which is actually extraordinary.
But maybe then that's like, we got to pick that guy up. He could lose a thumb if we leave him on.
Yeah, he better start holding his thumbs. Yeah. So, have you ever done any writing with Zoom, like a writing session with anybody?
Just started one. In fact, we have to see if you're interested in jumping on. I did one with my friend Kat Simmons and Steve Bruner.
Oh, yeah.
And then Larry Omaha jumped on one. So,
that would be awesome, because I'm horrible writing by myself. It's if I can bounce stuff off other people and vice versa.
Oh yeah, it's like having your own private writing clinic. We all we get up there, we do. Hey, I got these new bits. Some is just paper, some is written out. People do 3 to 5 minutes maybe, and then we just bounce it around. And always there's a tag or a new punchline or an insight, or people are. I think we're kind of like self-critical in some ways. So we're really hard on ourselves. We're able to help other people. I think it's the same in writing.
Right.
Yeah, where you're able to
Exactly.
see, you're like, I can't break this joke loose. I can't figure it out. But someone's like, oh, you need to change that word. Oh, hey, that was easy for you.
Right. 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 Or a tag you never would have thought of because you weren't going in that direction. All of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, I can go in that direction.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
And I get a
cool.
bigger kick out of that is write my own stuff, especially with something someone's work. Oh, I love that. I'm going to use that. And then they see
Yeah.
them use it. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
That actually is, but that it's a lot of fun, actually. I
Yeah.
don't know why I haven't thought of that sooner. I've been doing this for
Well,
30 years.
we're going to include you in our little comedy giving tree coming
That
up.
would be awesome. I would be honored. That would be awesome. For one of the first things I want to say here is I last week at my talk, my chat, I call it chatting with last week it was Dean Olson.
Oh, wow. Another.
I don't know if you know Dean.
Yeah. Yes.
But at the end of it, after he left, I talked a little bit to the two people that were watching, and I said, if I get 5 likes on this video, I'm going to trim my mustache into a pencil thin mustache. And I had a thicker mustache.
Uh-huh.
So I just want to point out to anybody that watched last week that I got 6 likes. So there's my pencil thin mustache right there.
Now, what happens if you get 7 likes this week? What are you shaving?
I'm gonna shave it. I'll shave it off. I'll go naked.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll go naked. Yeah. Upper lip.
By episode 12, you'll be like shaving the sides of your head. You'll have a mohawk going on.
I'll just have one stripe down the middle.
Yeah,
I'm not going to promise that one. I won't promise that one.
I think you're going to have to get at least 22 fans, 22 likes for that one. You're going to have to earn that one.
Yeah, yeah, and that'll take a while. So it'll give me time to get used to the idea. So yeah, I'm trying not to make this like an interview. It should be like a chat. But I do have some notes.
Okay.
Because I found myself when I've done. You're the third person, and I find myself saying a lot and shit like that. So just to start things off. And I've shared my story. I don't know if you looked at my channel, but I have a whole episode where I just talk about my very first time on stage. Very first time. It was at the Comedy Store in front of 200 people, and I'd never done stand-up before. I just fell apart.
First show, Comedy Store. You didn't start at Fred's Tavern in Monrovia or Harriet's Speakeasy in Hemet. You went right.
No.
Wow.
I devolved into that after the humiliating experience at the Comedy Store.
Belly of the beast. Well, you know what? The bombing stories, sometimes those are the best ones, and those are the ones that build the most character. You know what I mean? You bounce back from that. You had a successful career. You have a successful career, and a lot of people that would have crushed them. They would have been done. So that speaks to your resiliency.
Well, it also speaks to the fact that, like you said, you don't learn from success. If you kill the first time, you think that you got it made and you got nothing to learn.
Now, you didn't invite any people that first time, did you?
No.
Oh
no. And I didn't tape it.
I tell all the rookies and any advice? Yeah, don't invite your friends to your first 10 shows. I don't care how bad you need people there.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Can you tell me about where did you start out? You're in the Central California area.
Originally I was North Bay, up a couple hours in a place called Kelseyville, California. Yeah, hotbed of Kelseyville, near Clear Lake.
Yeah, I've seen that actually on the map.
See, even now, a place is pretty far out. If Leif had to study, just had to hesitate for a second to pinpoint it, because the man's been everywhere across the continental United States and then some. So I grew up in LA, the hub of entertainment. Went to work for the state of California, became a DMV driving examiner. I wanted cheap land, so I bought an old meth house in Kelseyville for $43,000 and transferred up there.
Still have the lab?
No, the lab's done. I'm not good with chemicals. I got no sense of smell, so I know I'd get busted right away. But it was I got this like cheap house with no foundation. It was kind of sloped a little bit. So I moved there. I was working for DMV.
So you actually bought a house?
I had a trailer at first. I lived in North Shore Mobile Home Park for $97 a month. This is like late 80s, mid 80s. Yeah, nice. and $2 a month electricity. So they were gouging me, and so I got the feel. It was
never ends, man.
Area. Yeah, never and then ends. My friend at the DMV, the janitor, said, "Hey, they got this house. It looks like a good deal. I know these people." So all I saw was $318 a month house payment, which is like a car payment. not the
Right.
fact that the septic was not functioning properly. It had some fire damage, outdated electrical, and was missing a foundation. Just a couple of oversights.
The foundation was missing? Really?
Either it sank or it was a little bit of like a leaning tower Pisa type thing situation.
Uh-huh.
So, did I acknowledge the situation? Yes. Did I address the situation? Did I fix the situation? No. I had my Finnish buddy, a fellow Nordic compadre.
All
He
right.
came up from LA, this guy Timo, and what he did was, rather than replace the foundation, he resided the house and put in all new windows and just plumbed it so the siding looked straight, even though the house was still at the slant. So when you looked at the house, it looked great. New
Okay.
siding, windows, and I moved from there, got married, burned out on DMV. I was given the driving test in a one no stoplight town at the time. So my buddy said, teach drivers training. And then I said, well, I'll do that, teach people driving. And I did traffic school classes. And that got me thinking about comedy, because people said, oh, you're funny. Have you ever done stand-up? And I was like, oh, I should. Usually for people that may not know, back when traffic school was taught in California in person, there'd be a lot of comedians. Like in LA, that'd be their side gig. I don't know if you ever did that back in the day.
I did. I did comedy traffic school. Yeah.
Yes. So, I did it backwards. I owned the school, and then I bought the team and then became a player. I had
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right. So
Wow.
then I met, I started calling comedy bookers, met Robin Esperance, if I remember Robin,
Yeah.
booker from Northern California. And she said, well, I said, I'm looking for comedians. She goes, well, go to Laughs Unlimited. Talk to Del Van Dyke. Well, Del's teaching a class next Wednesday. So I went and took his class, and I drove 2 hours because the closest comedy club, 2 hours. So I did this 2 hours back and forth, took the class, and I was like, I got to keep doing this. And, 22 years later, 300,000 miles later, I'm still doing it.
Okay. So, God, there's just a million things I want to talk about, right? Just in that. I did Let Us Amuse You was the name of my school. Spelled lettuce.
Yes, that was one of our competitors. Let Us Amuse You.
Okay.
I did Pizza for You in comedy too.
Oh, did not hear about that one.
I tried to up it one more, but I was only in the rural counties because my office was in the house. So in California, they had a rule: if it was less than 400,000 people in a county, you didn't have to have set office hours. So we only be open 1 hour a week. So
Oh, really?
officially, we'd answer the phones or you wouldn't get sign-ups. But then no
Right.
one came to our house anyway. But we had a little office, and we'd put a sign out: hours 9 to 10 a.m. Wednesdays. So the DMV inspector would come and say, okay, you're all legal. It was just a loophole. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, just real quick. I did it the other way around. It was teaching a comedy traffic school was kind of like the intermediate step between that and quitting my day job and going on the road.
Well, that's a great
So-
intermediate step. It's a long
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
but you really learn to work at, engage people, and you got to deal with hecklers, So
So your first time on stage, I just realized I've got this earpiece in my ear and I don't have it plugged in to my
well,
computer.
you sound like you're plugged in. It sounds good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what it sounds like now. How's it sound now?
Way worse. No, it's good.
No, is it really better or worse?
It's slightly better.
Okay,
other one-
slightly.
Yeah, maybe I'm just old and deaf, but it sounded pretty good. But there's a slight improvement.
Wow, that's funny. I've been talking this whole time and don't even have it plugged in. It's like I told Dean Olson about my memory. Prevagen.
Ginkgo biloba, Prevagen, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so you did traffic school, and then you took classes with Del,
Yeah.
and for those that don't know, maybe I don't know if it was no, it wasn't a California phenomenon, because I know they were doing it at a club in Texas when I worked there.
Yes, California and Texas.
Oh, is that right?
Those seem to be the two states, but then I didn't go to a lot of other states. I don't think Oregon had traffic school. I don't think Washington, any of the Western states. Nevada does not, still doesn't.
Okay. So for those that don't know, if you got a ticket, yeah, you would still pay the ticket, but if you didn't want it to go on your record to increase your insurance, the judge would let you go to traffic school. And then somebody came up with a bright idea of having comedians teach traffic school to make it more palatable.
Well, even back in the first encounter, before I did traffic school, Todd, you used to go to traffic school they would eliminate the fine and it wouldn't go on your record. Then they're
Oh,
like,
okay.
well, we'll still take the money, and but you'll have to go to traffic school and pay for traffic school.
Right.
And then the court started assessing a traffic school fee. It just got more and more cumbersome, and people like, well, I already paid the court. I said, well, you paid for the fine. And I already paid a traffic school fee. So you had to pay a fee to
Oh,
come
really?
and pay me. Yeah, people would be like, it was like you'd have to spend 10 minutes of the class addressing people's grievances because everyone's
Right.
mad. They're on the
Sure.
money on the ticket. They're on the money in the fine, the traffic school class, and we were cash only, cash or money order. I wouldn't mess
Yeah.
with free
Yeah,
credit
that's
card.
right. You're smart. You learned. So you took those classes and then you taught traffic school and you met up with Del Van Dyke at Laughs Unlimited in Sacramento. But when was the first time on stage
Well,
doing stand-up?
non-paid gig was on Laughs. They do an open mic right after the class, so the class
Sure.
would be 6
Right. Okay.
then go up. So I think I went up the first or second time because I thought about, well, if I'm going to go there, I've got to try it. So real quick backup. I know I'm going all, my ADD is kicking in. I thought about comedy, but I hadn't pulled the trigger. I went and went to a one-nighter in Lakeport, the town near where I lived, the next town over. Donna Lacey, a Bay Area comedian, was doing this one-nighter at a Lions Club. He was, and I was always hesitant about, I don't think I'll ever do it. And this guy, it was his first show back on stage after his daughter had been murdered in Oakland.
Oh, wow.
So to me, it was so amazing because it was so cathartic for him and the audience.
Yeah.
You could feel the support, and it was really like one of the best shows I've ever been to, just because of the way he overcame that and the fact that the people were so supportive. So I'm like, if this guy can get up after losing a child, I got to stop being a big wuss and do it. So that
Right.
I think that kind of pushed me fully into the realm. And then pretty much what happened was I started doing the mics. Dell took a liking to me. He goes, "Hey, you want to go on the road?" And if it's when a lot of the shows were 2-man road gigs, half-hour feature, hour headliner. Well, I only got 7-10 minutes. I go, "Don't worry, I'll cover the rest of the time." But he wanted something really. He knew I taught traffic school and driving school, so he knew I had a valid license and insurance. So I think that was.
Or you could drive. Yeah, the opener
Yeah,
could drive.
we're not gonna get the car impounded. The opener can drive. So that was part of it.
Yeah.
And then my first paid gig before I went on the road with him, Robin Esperance, former booker that did a lot of one-nighters on the West Coast. She called me because she knew she's the one that hooked me up with Dell, and she heard I was doing okay in class. She goes, "Hey, we got a fallout. Can you go to Eureka and do it again?" I only got 10 minutes. And said, "I can't do that." "Well, just do what you can." So that's a terrifying thing. When you're not prepared or ready, you're trying to prepare, you don't have enough material. It's like, you know what? Drive from Boise, Idaho to Denver, but you only have half a tank of gas. You got to go, you're just going to go as far as you can and figure it out. So I went up there. I did maybe 9 minutes, 7 bad minutes. And Jerry Corley, another funny.
I remember Jerry. Yeah.
Jerry, he got up there and shut it down and closed it and, did what he did, and people loved it. And they forgot how bad I was. Thank goodness. And so I think I just kind of bounced my way through where I didn't have enough bad experiences to quit. And I had just enough good experiences to think I could do it.
Oh yeah, but there's got to be an inner drive too. Yeah, I don't know if you ever knew Chris Collins, who's passed away, who was one of my favorite people to watch. Just a really funny guy in LA, and he took me on the road, and he would tell me, "Leif, we don't do this because we want to. We do this because we have to."
Yeah.
So like you said, you got to get up there and do 10 minutes. You're not prepared, but you're still going to do it. There's just some kind of an inner drive,
and you're pretty sure it's not going to go well, right? But you're still like, hey, it's kind of, there's that thrill of it. It's like, I got to do this, and maybe it's indoor skydiving without the thing.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm gonna take the plunge. And the weird thing is, my birth mother, who I met when I was 25, she tracked me down. She actually made a point of saying, I really don't like to laugh. So I thought, where the hell did I get this drive to laugh, much less make people laugh? I don't know.
I don't like to laugh.
I don't like to laugh. We were watching the Jim Carrey movie with the kids. It was like Liar Liar. So, I can't stand Jim Carrey. So you don't think he's funny? No, I don't like him. I really don't like to laugh. She's like more into dramas.
That's hilarious. Do you talk about that on stage?
I haven't. I need to. Oh, but that's
I mean, who else talks about having a mom that doesn't like to laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was your birth mother. You were adopted. Yeah.
Yes. So the genes evidently, I guess my birth father was quite the jokester. I don't know. Yeah.
You never met him?
Haven't met him. And then I was trying to track him down a few years ago. So, now with the computers and people
Sure.
finders, it turned out I pinpointed, he was actually living probably within 5 minutes of me. I was living in downtown Reno,
Oh,
an
wow.
apartment building, and he was like one block over.
Wow.
And then I talked to the lady that ran the boarding house where he was living. This elderly lady. Oh yeah, I can't remember him. Yeah, he left. No trace of him now. His phone
Oh, wow.
disconnected. Yeah, so I missed it. You got to act on your instincts.
That's amazing.
So
That's
I waited
amazing.
waited a little long. So I might still try to track him down. I'd like to. My mom passed. My mom was actually, she got murdered, which
Oh, wow.
going
Hey,
far
this is
afoot here. Yeah, we're trying to keep this light. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us up.
Yeah. So if you guys are familiar with the homicide laws, no, she was quite a loving
Is this
lady.
your birth mother or your adopted
Birth
mother?
My birth mother. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
she's passed on. I don't know about my dad. I suspect he's passed on. The last records we had, he had been in Clark County Jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of hilarity in my home and my roots, as you can tell. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't have that upbringing.
No, I grew up in a pretty normal middle class, lower middle class family, and
Yeah.
parents.
What part of LA?
Pacoima, and then East Valley.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Yeah.
as LA happens, when the crime rate goes up, then they start renaming parts of bad areas. So it became Arleta when I was like 5 years old. So, yeah.
Crime rate's too high. This place has got a bad reputation.
What do we do?
Change the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New zip code. Okay. That'll stop the drive-bys.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where were you in LA when you grew up?
I was in San Pedro.
I think we discussed this one time. Yeah, you were down by the harbor.
I was down by the harbor. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that was a great place to live and grow up, because it was on a peninsula. It was LA, but it was on a peninsula. So it wasn't really like LA.
Tucked away. Yeah.
It was tucked away.
That's kind of the valley was its own pocket. LA's 10 different cities.
Yeah, more than
One
that,
mayor. Yeah.
and one mayor. Yeah. And 200 freeways. Yeah.
Did you surf?
I tried, but it never grabbed me. I tried a few times.
You have that surfer look and vibe. I wouldn't have been surprised. You got the chisel look and the
Yeah, no.
You were that's because you were hanging out on the beach meeting women while the other guys were dunking.
Well, actually, I think the surfers got the women.
That's true. But.
Yeah, I body surfed. I like that. I would go swimming and body surfing, but
we would take the RTD bus from Van Nuys and a little, and boogie boards, and take the bus to the beach before we had
right
in the summer.
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
Pay our 45 cents fare. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about hecklers. What's the worst heckler story you have?
I don't know if it was man. I mean, I've had really bad shows, but nothing more like these. I think I've had some really uncomfortable situations that weren't really heckling. I did a Armed Forces entertainment tour in Japan it was Korea and Japan with Tommy Savit, and we were flip-flopping, and I was still like 6 years in. I wasn't that good, and Tommy was pretty polished. He is polished and very funny guy. And people basically, what broke out was there was like 7 people listening, and then there was like a card tournament in the back of the room. People were all playing cards. So that's a really uncomfortable feeling. So
sure,
more of the we're tuning you out versus like get the hell off the stage.
Right.
When I'm back in Nevada, I had a guy had a heart issue. I thought I'm doing really good. I'm like, yeah, look at this guy's laughing. He's all doubled over.
Right.
I got to take my dad back to the room. He has to take his nitroglycerin. He's a heart patient. So, yeah, I wasn't doing that good. Yeah.
I did a show up in Tacoma on a military base, and they warned me about him ahead of time. Said this guy's got Tourette's. We put him in back, as far back as you can in the room, but you might still hear him. Just ignore him.
He's in the military?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know you could have Tourette's in the military.
I didn't even think about that. All I know is I'm on stage and I keep hearing, "God damn it, fuck it, motherfucker, God damn it." And they told me, just ignore him. So I did. I just ignored him. So,
How-
but
how
so
does-
that
how
wasn't
does
really a
that-
heckler.
No, but yeah, it was a kind of an indirect heckle. But how does that guy work in the military? Johnson, do you understand what I'm saying, Johnson? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fuck you, sir. Fuck you, eat shit and die, sir. Fuck you. Sorry, protected Tourette's, right? Oh, what was the
Yeah.
other? What was the other painful experience I had?
You only had, wait a minute, you've been doing this, what, 30 years?
I've had plenty. I think I've had more. Well, you are so funny, and they reach past you, man. We loved your show. And you're
Reach,
standing there,
reach
trying to
past you
make yourself invisible.
to the headliner. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Have you ever had that when you were still opening? I mean, we still open sometimes for big names. So, but usually we headline. We headline the one-nighters. We headline the clubs. And have you ever had the experience where they come up and they talk to the feature, the guy that opened for you, and go, "You are so much funnier than the headliner." It's like, I'm standing right here.
Oh, this is a good one here. So one time I was middling in it was like Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, I think it was. It was opening for a magician at the Mohegan Sun Resort out there. And this lady comes storming out. We're just talking, and the magician's on stage. I did my set. We're standing in the hall, in the foyer. The lady comes out. Is there a manager available? Yeah, well, I booked the room. This guy, Scott Bruce. He goes, yeah, it's my room. I goes, so what? First of all, this poster here says this man is a magician and we'll be doing magic. We paid good money. He's been up there for 10 minutes. He has not done one magic trick. And the sign says, well, the comedian Marc Yaffee, and he wasn't even here because my hair was all long, right? It was a picture of his short hair. He goes, he's standing right here.
So they were talking about you. They thought you were the magician.
No, they thought the magician, because he was doing just straight jokes for 10 minutes to open a show. I didn't do it very. I'm more storyteller. I'm a one-liner joke comedian.
Yeah.
The magician's up there introducing the people, just getting them going with jokes.
Oh, okay.
Stormed out because he hadn't done any magic yet. And your sign also promised that comedian Marc Yaffee would be here. And he's not even here. And he goes, well, he's right here.
Yeah.
It was the hair didn't match the poster, the headshot. Yeah.
It's funny, man. It's such a small world. Bruce Scott was a comedian, correct?
Yeah.
Along with a booker. I worked with him in Indianapolis. It's just such a small world. Yeah. Scott Bruce. See,
there could have been there's probably a Bruce Scott too.
Yeah. Well,
common name.
Yeah.
But there's only one Marc Yaffee and one Leif Skyving. We don't have the real common names, which
that is true.
It's probably good in a way. Yeah.
I think it is. I always get my email name. I always get my website name, leifskyving.com, leifskyving@gmail. It's it's a good thing to have, really.
But what percentage of the posters you're on is there a misspelling in either your first or last name?
Not that many, but it's, well, I don't know, 10%, 15%.
I think I'm running about 15, 18%.
Yeah. Usually on the billboard. That's when they have a billboard outside. That's usually where the misspellings come. I don't know if the billboard guy is just dyslexic or
some poor Guatemalan immigrant. You want me to put up a Leif Skyving? A Leif Skyving. Okay.
I was actually introduced by a nervous 16-year-old busboy as Luke Skywalker, and he was dead serious.
Oh,
he was yeah.
I feel so bad for those guys, as bad as I feel for us. And like you cringe, I think of shows I've done and how bad I was and how patient people. You think the poor restaurant one-nighters, or the poor waitress, or the hapless busboy is like you're going to go up there because the owner doesn't like to be seen. You know, he'll talk your ear off stage, but he can't stand having to. He's afraid of exactly calling you Luke Skywalker. So they put it on the low hanging fruit has to handle it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's hilarious. All right, we reach a lull in the conversation here.
Well, on to the next question. Or I can keep talking about busboys. I've been.
Well, we can.
I've probably been heckled in Spanish many times. I didn't even know it.
Yeah. No. I was going to say. Well, you did. When I mentioned hecklers, you seemed like. Do you have the kind of act that doesn't attract hecklers? It's because I know you talk fast and you got to pay attention and you don't really slow down a whole lot.
I try to stick and move, I try to keep it rolling so I don't get open space. Now I'm trying to evolve, the new styles, a little more, slower pace, storytelling, punchline in the middle of the. So we'll see. I mean, especially now, I think that, the new vibe, everybody wants to have an opinion, and which is great. I think we're all equally entitled to have our say. That's the
Sure.
beauty. But I think it's going to be a little more challenging for people in the new environment. People are starting to be a little more chatty, less patient to get, I paid money, let's go, come on,
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I did one show in Alameda. One of the shows, a table just kind of started just talking. I don't know if they were arguing over the order or trying that. It was just like, they were like totally disconnected from the show for like about 2 minutes. Then they just like decided, okay, well, we'll pay attention again now.
I had shows like that all the time.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think we'll see more of that. Usually people, pretending to pay attention, I think, or playing cards in the back of a room in an Air Force base.
Well, the thing is about our business is, I mean, if you're not famous, you don't play A rooms and big arenas all the time. You take what you can get, so you can have some shitty little bar. I mean, it might be very nice people and nice owners and everything. So maybe I shouldn't call it a shitty little bar, but
It's
a
not
small,
the best feng shui
yeah,
comedy.
let's put it that way.
It's set up for
And
drinking and pool, not comedy and entertainment.
yeah, and you have to ask them to turn the TVs off, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. That kind of room, and then you can play an A room where they interchange. They'll have famous people like 2 weeks out of the month, and then they'll have somebody that's good but not known the other 2 weeks out of the
Fill
month.
in, yeah.
Fill in, and keep the budget at a certain level, and so you never know what you're going to get. And sometimes you can open for somebody that's famous, and you're in a huge venue where they treat you like royalty, and then the next night you're in some small bar somewhere where they're heckling you.
Well, the awkward one I have with that is if you do a show where they're set up for the big act the next night. I don't know if you've had that experience. I did one in Minnesota at this White Earth Casino. The Terry Fader's coming on Friday. We're doing the Thursday show. So I performed for like 1,832 empty seats. It was set up for 2,000 for him. That's a humbling experience, my friend.
Yeah. Well, talk more about that.
I can't. I have PTSD.
Yeah.
PTFSD, post Terry Fader stress disorder. Yeah, no, it was just, when they had a native comedy series going. It was the second Thursday. If you're trying to do a regular thing on a Thursday, you're not the marquee situation. So,
Yeah.
You get to those things. That's a painful one too. It's like, where's the show? Oh, there's a show tonight. Like the staff doesn't know. Hey,
Right.
People are coming to the show. Oh, I didn't know there was a show tonight.
Right.
Hey, who do we talk to? Oh, to talk to about what?
Yeah. And then the other situation is where we headline in a club Wednesday and Thursday, and then a name comes in Friday, Saturday, and you're the opening act.
Yeah. You get demoted.
And there's a lot of driving involved too. Do you drive, or? I'm
more mixed now. Just
Yeah.
the fact that I've kind of, the more comedy work has been hard to get, the more I've branched out. But
Right.
I live in the Reno Sparks area, so everything's a drive.
Right.
So I went from complaining about living in a town of 3,000 people, 2 to 3 hours from the closest clubs, to moving to Reno, which is 4 to 5 hours from the next closest city. Well,
Right.
Sacramento technically is like 2, but like Vegas, people always say, "Oh, you're from Reno." Yeah, I'm from Reno. Oh, yeah, I've been to Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for the
Yeah.
7-hour, 418-mile drive. They're practically the Twin Cities.
Right. Right.
So we definitely. I think that's part of the whole thing about being road comedians is you have to have that a discipline to get up and drive and put up with weather and breakdowns. It's not just.
People don't realize that the glamorous part of show business is getting up and driving, and an 8-hour drive is not unusual. It's
yeah, and you forgot there's a time change, and now there's a snowstorm, and the interstate's closed.
yeah, and you got to stop and put on chains. I've done that a couple of times going across the Sierras, and it's slush, and you're on your knees, and yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cussing. I don't cuss much on stage, but you can hand me some chains to put on tires. So there'll be a Tourette's tornado coming out of my mouth. Yeah.
And some days they're just great drives. The weather's great. You're going through Montana. There's beautiful scenery. And
you stop. You take a hike, or you got an off night, and you camp out or stay. Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah.
I'd like to tell people we may not be millionaires, but in some ways we live a millionaire lifestyle. We wake up usually on our own clock, unless you got an 8-hour drive and be at the gig.
Right. I was working a club in Jacksonville, and one of my best friends, we're still friends, but from high school, lived in Florida, so he came up to see me, and we're sitting out by the pool, and he goes, "Oh, you live like Dean Martin." So yeah, this week,
Yeah.
this week,
You
staying
say
at
I'm drunk and smoke too much? What are you saying?
this week I'm staying at a nice hotel, sitting by the pool during the day, doing a show at night. But next week I might be driving 10,
Yeah.
12 hours a day doing bars,
That's the next thing. People, oh, it's kind of glamorous, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a show in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I had a native tour Powell Comedy Jam. We went to Isleta Casino. It was like 1,800 people. We had a billboard on the side of the interstate on I-25. And the
Mhm.
next night, we're in Flagstaff at the tea room, 14 people.
Yeah.
From 1,400 to 14.
Right.
So that's an ego check and a half right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hilarious. I don't know what to say right now.
I know. It's the pain.
It's just-
This is more.
yeah.
This is more of therapy for Leif and I. Everybody. So
It really is. If I'm sitting in the car with somebody and talking, I can just talk nonstop, back and forth, just back and forth. But for some reason, when I got a camera on me doing this thing, it comes in spurts.
maybe that's the thing. Comedians in cars doing road gigs. Forget comedians in cars drinking coffee.
That could be. I mean, imagine the material you could get out of an 8-hour drive.
I always tell people some of the best material is in the car that never makes it to the stage. We're like the cutting room. We're the cutting room floor of comedy. We're the
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of it because it's inappropriate, and some of it because we forgot, and some of it it was a passing thing, and no one would have a reference. But no, I think that's some of the best stuff for the brain, and I think a lot of our thinking process comes during those downtimes when we're not.
Yeah, you do a lot of thinking. You do a lot of thinking driving. Get a lot of your thinking done.
A lot of thinking, a lot of sleeping.
Yeah. So have you ever had okay, just real quick then. So, man, I don't know. I'm trying to go from when you started and you were an opener, and how did you transition to a headliner, and how long did it take?
Well, for one-nighters, probably 6 or 7 years. You start getting or sometimes it was 4 or 5 years. In certain clubs, it would be a fallout, an emergency situation. A lot of it just to be like we were right in the right place at the right time, and someone was like, "Hey, we're desperate."
Right.
So I kind of say my career's quite have been helped by the in case of fire break glass phenomenon. We're like, okay, we got to get someone, and maybe I'll do the fallout. I'll drive 6 hours on short notice.
I think that's pretty common. Sounds very familiar to me. And then you have like 35 minutes. And you either got to stretch it to 45, depending on the gig, or an hour.
Yeah,
but
and then
you take it.
And I didn't really have crowd work. I still, I can work on a crowd, but I'm not a crowd work comedian. So you can, some guys, they got personality. They'll just, I'll just get up there and bullshit,
right?
Talk about the town, make fun of the blah 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 blah. I'd be the one guy to read the itinerary says don't make fun of the hotel. Well, I better not. I don't want to, I'd be like the rule follower instead of the rule breaker because I didn't want to jeopardize my status. So
yeah,
I did it on the ship. I got booked on Princess Cruise Lines on a fill-in. It was only 3 years in, and I only had 46 minutes of material. And I had to do 45 minutes. Everything I had, I threw out there. And it was all road stuff. It wasn't cruise ship ready. Talking about ports and stops and ship life. I didn't have any reference because I'd only been on one cruise. So, and then Don Friesen, a very funny comedian out of LA, he was on the ship. So he kind of mentored me. And the first show actually went really well. I'm like, oh, this is it. He goes, oh, tweak this, tweak that. Get up and do the second show, which usually can be looser. You think people have a couple drinks. That's a party.
2 shows a night. Okay, you're talking about 2 shows a night, just for those that don't know.
For that cruise, yeah. So I only had to do 2 shows the whole time. It was like a 4-day cruise. So I killed the first one, second one, flatline. So not doing the cruises, and that took me another 15 years to get back on a cruise.
Yeah.
So yeah, those you can get the breaks and you can get the non-breaks. And a lot of close calls.
I've done one cruise. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do another one. Pays good. But I was bored to tears, and they didn't want me back. So there's that.
It's a 1-2 combination. What cruise line?
Yeah, it was Norwegian.
I with the Norwegians and the Swedes have beef. Is that what's going
No,
on?
no, actually, it went well. I got like a B or a B minus, but they
So they
wanted.
give you a letter grade on Norwegian.
No, forgot
That was yours.
exactly.
So yeah.
I forgot
They
what the agent said. They said Leif was very professional, followed all the rules. His shows were fair. So I guess that's a C. I guess that's a C.
But people, you know what? You think one-nighters are hard? Those ship shows are not easy.
No, and it all depends on which. We did shows every night. So we did shows every night. So you didn't know
And
when the whoever was the talent agent or the talent coordinator was going to be there.
right,
And,
it's
and he
now
might have seen.
you can have five great shows and one crummy show.
Yeah,
Where did he
yeah,
come?
right,
Or
exactly. Yeah.
five great shows and one complaint on one night, and that person's a high roller on the crew. It makes me
Right.
stink about it.
So it wasn't like they said we never want him back. They just said he was fair, and so it wasn't great. It wasn't a
Cruise
great
ships, a
review.
lot of people are one and done on cruise ships. They don't make, so that's.
Yeah, but
Certainly
I
if you
will
came
tell you
back now,
this:
you would do it.
I would do it for the money because the money compared to driving every day and doing one nighters or even working a week in a club, the pay is better.
I loved it. I mean, I'm excited to go back because you get your own room, you get privacy, you got all free movies. You can eat whenever you want to. There's a gym. There's a walking thing. The sea days are a little long, but usually you can get out and walk around in the port. Now the thing is with COVID, post-COVID, they're talking about changing it where only itinerant passengers with ticketed excursions can leave the ship, and everyone that just wanted to go freestyle it before and walk around locked down because of COVID. Now maybe that changes with the vaccine, but that was the original discussion. So I mean, then I'd be like, well, I can't be on the ship the whole time. I got to get off the ship. Then I might be done with this.
Yeah, well, and it's probably different with different lines. Like I said, I only did Norwegian, and what I was disappointed with, and it would have made it a lot more fun. You weren't allowed to associate with the passengers. You weren't allowed at the pool.
Oh, no, I was on Holland America, free reign.
Yeah, see that was a different. We got to eat at the buffet, and that was
I'll
it.
get you my agent's phone number, mate.
Yeah.
Serious. Yeah.
So I was in the
to do a
cab.
cruise, a Leif and Marc comedy week.
There you go. There you
Do a
go.
road gig. Nothing against road gigs. I love, I'm
Yeah.
a proud road comedian, but hey.
Yeah. So it was just staying in the cabin, and then they had a little workout room for the crew. I could associate with. Yeah.
I got to go on the regular passenger, go to the movies when they have movie night and the big theater, watch the shows.
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. Is like working vacation.
So you didn't realize to get on the ship, then they locked you, give you all the.
Yeah, then they give you all the rules. And,
Welcome aboard. Get in your room.
Yeah, and you're treated as crew. You had to get up first day. You had to get up early for an emergency drill.
A muster. Yeah.
Yeah, muster. Yeah.
You had to wear a little vest and
little cap. Said C for comedian. Yeah.
You were branded on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy's not funny. Well, I'm mustering. Okay, this is not a comedy show.
Yeah. So I enjoyed seeing different places of being out on the ocean. But hey, I'll just have to work for another cruise line. But
there's nothing like a drive between Sheridan, Wyoming, and Medford, Oregon on short notice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I took a bus one time from Medford. I was working with Chris Curtis, and he lived in Medford. For some reason, I took the bus there. I did a gig there. I left my car there. So took a bus to Sioux Falls, South Dakota,
From Medford
to go MC a week at a Funny Bone.
Oh wow! Was it this early on in your career?
Yeah. So I was like, grab what you can. But then that I didn't realize is on Greyhound when the driver has to get a paid a mandatory lunchtime. Everyone has to get off the bus. And his lunch was like 2 a.m. in Bozeman, in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
So you're all just huddling there there's nothing open, he's having a sandwich and okay, you guys get back in now. So you had to stop sleeping and go out in freezing weather and
Yeah, that's the other thing you do when you're first starting out is you take anything because you want the stage time and you just feel like you can't turn anything down. And then you get to a point where you're making a living at it and you feel like you have to take whatever you're offered because you got bills to pay and this is your sole living.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I was fortunate to do the transition because I did driver's training, 2-hour lessons. So I could block out, well, I'll teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, block out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And then come back and still have some income. Right. So I really, I got a lot of breaks in that regard. And I would say, oh, someone else teach my traffic school class. I would try to get someone to cover it for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I will tell you, my longest drive to a gig was from San Pedro, California to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. That was the first gig on the run. And I drove, and then I went to Miami from there, and then from
You went
Miami.
farther east.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
understand Muscle Shoals. Then you got to go all the way down Florida. That's not a short drive.
No, that was the next night.
Woo, next night.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a one-nighter in Muscle Shoals. And you do it just, oh God, oh, stage time. Great. Because in LA, when you're doing showcases, you get 3 minutes. You're lucky if you get on stage when you're doing open mics and stuff like that to work on material. And oh man, yeah, I get to do 30 minutes. And then when you get down to Florida, because Florida didn't pay as much as other states, so they would they'd hire strong middle acts, feature acts to headline, because it was feature money
and newbies to open.
Yeah, exactly. So I stayed in Florida. So anyway, so I went to Miami, and then from there, I did 2 nights in Miami, and then I did a week in Atlantic City, but I had to drive straight through from Miami to Atlantic City to make it to the gig.
Well, that's a pretty good gig, and you got a week in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
That's always, that's the thing is, so much of your brain mindset gets down like, what gig comes first? You want to get the shitty ones out of the way, and then get the luxury gig where you got the food and the nice room. But that, we have no control over that. So,
No.
This comedy is such a roll of the dice, crowds, accommodations. I did a show in Angola, Indiana. Well, so I didn't even know there was an Angola, Indiana, Northwest Indiana. And the hotel was cordoned off with crime scene tape because it was collapsing. It wasn't a murder. It probably had been a murder too. But basically, the stairs were like half missing. It looked like I thought I was in Baghdad all of a sudden.
Right. Is there a punchline
That's
there?
That's all I got.
Oh, okay.
Really, it's really a shitty road story.
So you got to the hotel, but you couldn't stay at the hotel then, is what you're saying?
No, I stayed in the other wing. Like half the hotel was cordoned off, but
okay.
the rear end was still structurally sound, according to the $10 an hour hotel clerk.
Yeah. And then after I did Atlantic City, you're right. And I met Louis C.K. there, and this is long before he blew up.
Was he already Louis C.K. or was he still going by Scully or whatever his name was before?
Well, the booker, Ann Keel, I don't know if you ever worked for her in Florida. She booked both rooms in Atlantic City. And I finished, I was the opener. So I finished, she goes, well, let's go over and watch Louis. So I don't know what he was going by. She just called him Louis. And we got backstage, and I couldn't talk to him because he had been balled out for saying fuck. And so he was in his own headspace, and he was like, he was in his own headspace because he was probably thinking, shit, I'll never work Atlantic City again or whatever.
Yeah, he's probably thinking, the good old days when I only got in trouble for saying fuck.
Yeah. And then he did on his show, he did an episode about that where he got in trouble for saying fuck in Atlantic City. So,
really?
It's like, I'm part of history.
Where did you work in Atlantic City?
Trump Plaza.
Oh man, just got imploded a few days ago.
Well, I think I had something to do with that, actually.
Good. I like to think you helped bring that karma, righteous karma.
Yeah. So, and then from Atlantic City, I didn't have anything to get back to LA. No gigs at all. So I did showcases as much as I could, stop off in towns and get up and do 5-10 minutes and see if I could get booked back. But it was definitely.
Would you call the club as yourself, or would you use like a fake pseudonym to try to say, hey?
No, I thought about that. I didn't have the balls to do it, but I know some guys did that, but I never did that. And that's probably why I didn't succeed.
That's how I am too. If I just did some fake voices,
right? Yeah,
we'd be doing this interview from my yacht.
Exactly. Well, you wouldn't even be doing it. I couldn't even get you on the phone.
Oh no, we'd still be the old road buddies from the day. Yeah, you'd have to go through my people.
Yeah.
Get to me
Yeah.
eventually. It'll be layers,
Yeah. Yeah. And Leif, who?
Yeah.
Leif? Who?
Leif, like, oh yeah, Swedish guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
remember him. But what the fuck does he want?
yeah. They still doing those podcasts, those pod
Yeah.
parts. Yeah.
My fantasy, my revenge fantasy, early on was because you get so much reject. I mean, you still get rejected, but
Oh God, yeah.
but after you do it, like you and I have been doing it for a long time, you develop relationships with booking agents that they know you, they like you, you always do well in their rooms. So it's not that big a problem with a large section of the work that you do. As long as they're in business, you're in business, as far as that goes, right? But in the beginning, nobody knows you. Nobody. So there's a lot of rejection. So my favorite fantasy was that all those people that had rejected me, I would get some kind of big break, and they'd be calling me.
Mhm.
And the first thing I'd say, no, the first thing I'd say is, how'd you get this number?
I'd be curious if you ever get an interview with like a heavy hitter or someone, if they ever talk to people this sick, they say, yeah, I love telling the people that kind of pissed all over me, like, sorry, I'm not available, because that
Right.
people don't want to say no in this business. Some people will say straight out no. Most people, it's just comedy is such a game of avoidance and non-commitment, and just say it's not going to work. But people don't want to be the one that said, oh yeah, I told Leif, no, we couldn't use him, and then you blow up, and then they're like, they don't want it. No one wants to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Onstage
and
wrong.
you're right. And people are just they will lead you on. Call me back in 2 weeks. Call me back in 3 weeks, and you do. I mean, you figure out you do. But I had one guy, and this is on the trip back from Atlantic City. I had one guy. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he booked 2 or 3 clubs, and I did 10 minutes, and he brought me back to his office, and yeah, okay, yeah. So, what's your phone number? How can I get a hold of you? And what's your social security number? And social security number? Really? Damn it! This guy's going to book me, right? I'm hired. And then I could never get him on the phone. Never get on.
Yeah.
He's in a meeting. He's in
He
a meeting.
he committed identity theft using your social security number.
Yeah. But like he was so afraid to say no, he
Oh.
pretended like he was going to hire me. It's like,
Wow. Yeah, we need more
yeah,
honesty in the business. I
yeah,
almost thought about like having we should have an Angie's List of comedy, where the
that's a great
bookers,
idea. That's a
you're
great
like,
idea.
okay, Marc Yaffee's got 3 out of 5 star ratings. You know what? Here's the budget. Here's the reviews. They're, bookers and clubs that have their portal. The public would have their portal, and then you can see a clip. And then you can say, okay, this guy's blowing smoke. We know guys that are blowing smoke that really shouldn't be where they're at. Others that they deserve a break, and no one's really uncovering them.
Right, right. Yeah, I finally got the guy on the phone, and this is after I don't know how many phone calls, because it always say, oh, he's in a meeting, he's out, he's this and that. Finally, he picked up, and that was back before caller ID. And he picks up, and he says, well, no, I really don't think I can use you. And I said, well, then why did you go through all that? Why did you take my social security number? Well, I'm sorry about that. It's like, yeah, me too. But you can do a lot of that, especially when you're first starting out. You make a lot of phone calls. You don't know if they're really busy or if they're really avoiding you. I'll tell you how I got on the cruise ship. Buddy of mine has an app, I guess it would be. He worked out a piece of software that automatically sends out emails. You can set it to once a week, once a day, once a month. You can set it to the day of the week. That sends out an email with a link to your videos and everything you want, your availabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got an email from a very nice agency that books Norwegian, and they said, "Do you mind if we submit your video to Norwegian?" And this is like 6 months after I started sending emails to them every week.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and they'd gotten like, I don't know, 20, 30 emails from me before I finally heard from them. And I usually give up. If I call somebody or send them an email or two and I don't hear back, it's like, all right, I guess not. But here I could check. I look at the app and it's like, oh, they got 22 emails before they got in touch with me. So
Persistence.
you never know. You never
I
know.
say, yeah, I say gotta have patient persistence.
Yeah.
But it gets exhausting, you know. I was like, what really?
It
8 hour
does.
drive versus 2 hours at making phone calls. I'd almost take the 8 hour drive in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
Ah,
Sure.
dialing for dollars.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know. I think we covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Geez, no, I think I've always like to bring up the state of comedy, and I'm interested in your thoughts. If the Zoom stuff's going to stick around, if live comedy's coming back, if we're all going to get the money cut. I mean, where do you see that? I mean, like, I think that's a discussion.
With this virus thing, I don't know what's going to happen. I just started doing the Zoom stuff, and I wish I would have started earlier because it's a great idea. And like you said, with the writing sessions, I didn't even think about that.
I
That's
just
a
came
great,
up with that a couple months ago.
yeah, it's a crazy great idea.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just booked my first gig, and it'll be my first gig in over a year. It's going to be in
Oh,
Jokers in Richland,
yeah.
April 2nd and 3rd.
Cool.
So I have no idea what the state of comedy is. And I was just starting to work on a bunch of new stuff. I was excited about it when the virus hit. And now it's like, I don't want to go back to doing all my old stuff. And the new
Yeah.
stuff, I've forgotten most of it, or it's really rusty. And
Well,
so
that's
it'd
what
be
the Zoom shows. I mean, I'll jump on some Zoom open mics once in a while just to spit it out.
right. Yeah.
And who knows
Yeah.
what it translates on a computer as talking versus a live audience. May not be 100%, but at least it's some barometer. You know?
Yeah. Now, do you want to plug your jacuzzi show?
Oh yeah, I'll plug all sorts of stuff. Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm on TikTok. I'm killing on TikTok. I'm at about $4.87 now.
Did you really?
51,000 followers. I've made $4.87. So
You said $4? I thought you said 400.
$4.87.
$4. That's big money, man.
Well, I'm trying to invest it.
In 1905, you could buy a dinner for a nickel.
I think I'm going to go Bitcoin, but you're right. We could have done big things back then.
Yeah.
And so I do a Jokes from the Jacuzzi series every Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you go to my Facebook page, my YouTube page, they're all linked off my laughwithmarc.com, LAUGHWITHMARC, because my parents couldn't spell. So they can find that. And yeah, I do a mix of topical because I'm trying to write, topical jokes every week, and just so I can keep that writing muscle up. And then I do some of my stuff if I've written some new material or punched up some material I've been working on. So that's fun. It usually goes 10, 20 minutes at most. And then people can follow my schedule at laughwithmarc.com. I'll be at Jokers in May.
Okay.
And some Zoom shows coming up. Flappers Comedy well, I don't know when this is airing, so I'll take Flappers Comedy in the near future.
Well, this is going to be probably tonight or tomorrow. That's going to be
all right. Well, they'll
Yeah.
miss. I'm doing a Flappers Zoom show tonight, so that'll be too late probably.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
Yeah.
expect you to rush off here and log into them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got to edit out a lot of my comments because
trust me, you'll be editing plenty here.
yeah.
I do notice that I do have a podcast. How does that happen? It's about unusual record holders. Today before we talked, I interviewed the record holder of the most frequent flyer miles. This guy's flown 23.8 million miles. Not bonus. I got double points on my credit card. Actual butt in seat, they call it. That's the term, BIS. He got to be on Seinfeld. He flew so much. He had his own TV show. George Clooney, the Air Up There movie, inspired by his time in the air. Just a fun guy. Then I interviewed my other friend, also a comedian. He was hired as a Taliban temp for hire during the Afghanistan war, $15 an hour. They gave him full drums of blanks, AK-47s. They had him in scenarios with the Marines, getting captured, knocking around prisoners, pretending to set off and improvise explosive devices.
Oh, wow. Sounds like fun. Yeah.
Fun stuff. And then I've interviewed the world wings eating champion, Molly Schuyler, lady, mother of four, ate like 500 wings in 30 minutes. So I just try to pick some of the oddball stuff, and a planking champion at planked for 8 hours, and 53 minutes straight. This guy, George Hood, a retired DEA agent. So I try to, that's kind of my little fun side project. But yeah, I got the jokes in the jacuzzi on TikTok at Marc Yaffee Comedy. Follow me, Instagram, Facebook, the usual places, and hopefully coming live to a venue New Year's soon.
Okay, so the interviews, are they on YouTube?
Yeah, so I have all the podcast. I usually, most of them are. So I use this app StreamYard, which you can shoot out to Facebook, YouTube. Sometimes the other person doesn't have the StreamYard app, so it's just audio only.
Oh,
But
okay.
most of the, I try to post most of the video part podcast on YouTube and Facebook, and then the audio goes to all the Apple and all the streaming services. I rip the audio and do that too. So
Wow. Yeah, you're busy. You're ambitious. You're busy. I just lay in bed until it's time to do a Zoom interview. Then I get up like an hour before, and I'm going, shit, everything's disorganized. I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, but then I feel like I'm a lot of wheels spinning. It's tough when you do all this planning and you have a podcast with 18 downloads or 75 downloads. But sometimes
Yeah,
you
but
gotta do
you
it
have
'cause you love it.
50. You said you had 51,000 followers on TikTok.
TikTok, but they don't necessarily jump to the other platforms. This is a follower. This is a follower. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
some are, they can become a little super fans. They comment and everything, but most people are, a follower is more of a passerby. They should really have a passerby option on those. Are you a follower? Not passerby. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a casual observer. How do I get in that classification?
I give up real easy. I started TikTok. I did about 8 videos, and I didn't become a TikTok star. So I said, screw this. I'm doing Zoom interviews. Yeah.
And then, 2 weeks from now, TikTok to be done. And now there's
Right.
a platform.
Right. Yeah. Where's Vine? What happened to that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm going to keep that 80 people on MySpace. I post once every 3 years. Keep hope alive.
On that note, I think we're good for now.
We'll end on a high note. Yeah. Thank you, man. It's been a lot of fun and good memories.
Yeah. Thank you. And hopefully we can do it again if you're not
Okay.
too busy.
Let me know. I've got a computer and plenty of time.
Yeah. It sounds like you do. Sounds like you don't actually, but okay. Sounds great, man. It's really good to see you.
I always make time for my good friends, so.
Yeah. Really good to see you. And with this virus, I mean, because we don't work on the same bill usually, so we hardly ever get to see each other. Right?
Well, be safe in Idaho. I did go up there one time, and you guys, Idaho, most of your neighbors don't even like wearing a mask at Halloween, so it's a little dangerous out there. Yeah.
I wish you weren't so funny, man. You make me look like I'm not a comedian.
You're great.
It sucks.
Interviewer, and
No.
I appreciate the star treatment. Make me look good.
You're good. You're good, Mark.
You know how to serve them up.
You are a star, and I promote this as this is all about road comics, and it's about the funniest, most talented people you've never heard of, and that's no offense. That just means you're not on the Seinfeld level.
1 out of 3, not bad.
Yeah. It just means that there's a lot of funny people that could be famous, but for some reason, there's only room for so many at the top.
No offense taken. And, in this day and age, we're sitting here today, and then we got one video goes viral. The next thing you know, we'll be back in Atlantic City, and I'll be opening for you in a 10,000 seat arena.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Or vice versa.
Well, hey, either way, we'll have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. You're one of the good guys in the business, man. Really enjoy you.